Welcome back to the AM Club here on MX24. My name is Miriam Uduak-Mensah. We're going to delve into something really exciting. Listening to this song, it got me a little bit emotional. In fact, watching the video and everything, I was like, actually, mothers really do this thing, all right? Yes, and so yesterday was Mother's Day. We celebrated it all around the world. But today, we're extending the conversation, all right? And we're going to have a conversation right here in the studio. I have amazing women joining me, spanning from different aspects of motherhood. And we're going to have this great conversation. So joining me today, this morning, we have Mrs. Selassie Doku. She is the CEO MedFocus International and founder of 360 Living International, mother of 3 young adults and mother to many. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm blessed.
Okay, so she's not the only person joining us. We have Anastasia Fiatonu, and she is a consultant. Also, all the way from the UK, Aretha Anderson Williams. She is a potential mother. In fact, she's about to be a mother very soon. Yeah. She's not a mother yet, but she's going to touch base on other aspects of preparing for that big day, what it feels like. If what all we are doing here, the whole motherhood conversation scares her. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, ladies. You all look amazing. Are you guys going to tell me a little bit about how you spent your Mother's Day? I'm going to start with Miss.
Okay, so my Mother's Day yesterday was a big rest day for me, and my family knew that I needed a rest.
Okay.
So they gave me that opportunity to rest, and we had a nice meal.
Yeah.
We shared the pleasantries and everything, and I was like, everybody was like, okay, it's time to sleep.
Oh, and they left you alone.
The ones in school were even texting her like, Mommy, it's time to sleep. So, and that was, I was so happy that
they get the assignment.
Exactly. Because they know I need my sleep.
Wonderful.
I need my Sunday afternoon sleep. Yeah.
Anastasia.
Okay, my day started with text messages from my loved ones wishing me happy Mother's Day.
Okay.
And my daughter also called on video because she was staying with my mom.
Okay.
So she called to wish me happy Mother's Day. And because currently I'm studying, I spent the whole day on Zoom having classes.
Oh no, that's one. I had an exams yesterday. Can you imagine?
Yes.
Can you imagine? Anyway, Aretha, how did you celebrate your day yesterday?
I've been celebrating all the mothers, let's say. I went to church, and then actually this was my first time with my mother-in-law for Mother's Day, so we went for a buffet. It was really nice and rested.
You saw the job that this motherhood comes with.
Hey, it's amazing.
I love that. Anywho, so what was it like? Let's start with the big mama in the house, okay? She has more experience than any of us could ever have. You have 3?
Sure. 3. I have 3. One, the first is 10 and 20 in a couple of months. And then I have
20?
18.
Okay.
And then a 14.
Wow. What was it like preparing for motherhood?
So, I mean, for me, it took me a while to conceive. So not that long, but about 6 months after we got married.
Okay.
So that whole process was like, I was expecting that, right after our wedding, you're getting pregnant and all of that.
Okay.
But so it gave me some time. It gave me some time to really think through a lot of things as to what do I really want with the children that I'm going to have, what kind of mother do I want to be, and all of that. And I was able to process all of that. It gave me that. I think that God just knew that I needed that 6 months to prepare myself, because sometimes I even said that I don't think I was being prepared for marriage, but He threw me into it. So He gave me that time, and it's an opportunity that I had to be able to process the whole idea of being a mother, how I wanted my children to turn out by God's grace, and how I was going to prepare myself for that. So when it came about, I was like, okay, this is it. But then it came about, and I was like, everything that you had planned and all of it just went straight out of the window. It's like, oh. So
the planning didn't plan.
Yeah, some aspects of it went out of the window.
No.
So it started by having a preterm baby, a premature baby, 1.9.
No.
And that was intense. And I mean, doctors are like, oh, everything is fine with him, but we don't know why he's so small. And and day after day you're in and out of hospital trying to find out what's wrong and how to keep, and everybody tells you this is how you keep them, this is what you do, this is what you do. But at a point I said to myself that he's here. It took us a while to even name him because we weren't too sure what was going to happen.
He would say. Oh.
So at a point my grandmother called me and said, he's here to live, name him and let him live.
Yes.
So we did everything, and he said, and he was like, take it one day at a time. And that's when I got to know that there were a lot of, I don't know what I wasn't prepared for. I didn't know that I would go through all of that. Yeah. So I got to know about how preterm babies get to, grow and all of that. And it was amazing after that. Once I was settled with it and I knew that it would be okay, I was talking to a lot of older mothers who had had the experience.
Yes.
And because I could hold my baby this way and you wouldn't know that I was even having, I had a baby with me. So
that's small.
That's small.
Wow.
So after, then month after month, I saw him putting on, and and it was.
And that's a long process. Yeah. How did you genuinely navigate emotionally and physically through that process?
The first time I saw my baby, I was like, oh my God, what's this?
Yeah.
I think I had a bit of a postpartum depression, a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Because I was hoping to see a big, full baby, and I wasn't expecting to be going through in and out of hospital, but it happened. And so I had the support of my husband, who is a doctor.
Oh.
So at least, but they see that even though with that support, you still don't grasp it. You still think that everything should be
a certain way,
but then it doesn't happen that way. But somewhere along the line,
yeah.
you get it. You come to accept it. You come to know that, okay, this is what I'm dealing. And then you have to go through, is he going to walk? Is he going to talk? Is he, all of that anxiety, that psychological, you have to go through all of that. But for me, I like to pray. And so prayer, and I was always, praying over him, and asking for advice from people who have experienced that, and it really helped a lot.
Wonderful.
So yes, I thought I was prepared, but the real deal, the real McCall
happened when your baby was here. Yeah. Listen, while you're talking, I started researching. It was like, hey, this thing is real. Let's move straight to Anastasia. Anastasia, how did you prepare yourself towards motherhood? Tell us your story. What is your story?
For me, I wasn't prepared because I'm not married.
Okay.
Yes, I joined my boyfriend in China.
Okay.
So that is how it happened. Like, we didn't really plan for it. Okay. It happened. So I just had to embrace it. I was far away from my family. Yeah. And I had a lot of challenges, but once the doctor told me I was pregnant, I just had to tell myself, you have to do this. Yeah. Yes, you are bringing another person into this world. So I just had to embrace whatever challenges I faced when I was far away from home. Yeah. So 8 months, my family asked me to come down to give birth here in Ghana. And I didn't even know the gender because in China, you are not allowed to know the gender. So when everybody was like, try and find out the gender, I was like, no, whatever God will give me, I'm ready to accept it, yes. So I gave birth, and it was a baby girl.
Okay.
And she was not well for a week. She was sent to the NICU. So every morning I have to go there and breastfeed her. I didn't know what was happening. The doctors didn't know what was happening. They kept asking me, was I sick when I was pregnant?
You gave birth in China or Ghana?
No, I came back.
You came back,
yes.
Okay.
So I gave birth in Ghana. They kept asking me what was the issue, because they themselves, they couldn't even figure out what was wrong. So what I did was that anytime I go to the NICU, I just hold her and I sing for her, because I used to sing this song for her when I was in China. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine.
Okay.
Yes. So anytime I go to the NICU, I just sing that for her whilst tapping her, yes, gradually. So eventually she got healed and were asked to come home.
Back home.
Yes.
And that's like how long after you gave birth to her?
It was like a week.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
A week. So we stayed at the NICU for 1 week. Yes.
I believe that because you're using terms, and for the benefit of my viewers, NICU will be NICU, and was it like what is it?
It's a maternal, what do you call it's for preterm babies.
Yes,
Like
yes.
incubator.
Like in
Yes.
an incubator,
Yeah.
like the natal stage
Yes.
where they are in an incubator
Yeah.
and you go there and I mean sometimes so what happens is that sometimes they have this thing they call the GAP score, the app score.
Okay.
So the breathing, the lungs and everything must be functioning in a certain way. And you have to have 10/10.
Okay.
So there are some babies that are born that have maybe 7/10, 8/10, or 6/10, and they want to make sure that everything
is
he's able to
working,
take in,
yes.
breathe in well, breathe out well, and all of that. So
Now you are fresh in the business of marriage.
Yes, I am.
How many months now?
3 months.
3
now.
months,
Yes.
literally.
Yes.
And she doesn't have babies before marriage. So you know that part of your business in marriage is to have children.
That's right.
Have you started receiving pressure to also?
Hey, all corners, all sides.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah, we've decided. Well, we want to.
Yes. Have you
like, give
planned, you
ourselves
and
some
Mr. Williams, have
time.
you planned how many
Yes.
children you want to have?
Well, we're still debating. I grew up basically as an only child. My mum gave birth to twins when I was 15.
Okay.
So I basically grew up as an only
Yes, yes,
child.
yes.
So I've always had that thing in my head that I want like a big family
Yes.
when I grow up. So for me, I'm like, yeah, I want like a big family. He's like, oh, no, I want like 2 or 3. So we're just like, let's just see what God will do.
God
Let's
will
just
do.
see what God will do.
So when are you planning? So you plan, God gives.
Yeah,
But
that's
but
right.
from your side as a family, what are you? When are you planning on having children? And if at any point you face difficulties, what are your plans towards that?
Well, our initial plan is to like get time to know each other, spend time with each other, because we know from all the people that I talk to, as soon as children come in, like everything changes,
Yes,
a lot changes, So we wanted to like spend maybe like a year or so just
Okay.
enjoying each other, traveling, and
Yes.
obviously ministry as well. I
Yes.
sing, so like just doing as much as I can and as much as he can before we get in. But then again,
As you people are together in a room, you never know. You never know what God has
what
planned.
God wants to do, But I think like in terms of preparation towards it, I kind of had a baby in a way when my mum had her twins. Because like
You were 15.
I was
You were
15, I was
assistant
big,
mother.
yeah. So, she'll have one, I'll have one, in the night. So the only thing I didn't do was push out the baby
Yeah.
and breastfeed, but literally everything else.
So what
I
did you
was doing.
see a mother of twins go through?
Oh, so obviously before she gave birth, I saw, how her body changed, how she was tired, she can't do the same things, and the importance of support as well. Like, that's one thing I wanted to make sure that I have is like a good community before I even bring out children. Like, just make sure I have people that are around me that can support me, that can uplift me, So not just about being a mother, but even about like my surroundings. Like, I want to make sure that I have a healthy environment to bring the child in as well. So all of that, I'm being very intentional about. Like, we have to change our circle. We have to make sure we have people, who have access to my ear gate, are good people, to just uplift me. So that's one of the things that I'm making sure I'm putting in place as well.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I saw you look at it. That's amazing. Now, one would say that motherhood before, say in the 90s, have changed. Today, mothers are giving their children access to technology, children on their own. I had a conversation with someone and he told me that the children now, and it's not by accident, it's fact, the children now have a higher IQ than we did have before. They're different, they're built differently, they think differently. So you have a structure of how your mother raised you, but these ones, they have different genes. What do you make of this assertion?
yeah, a lot of change, of course, but I mean, a lot also boils down to the environment that you create for them.
Right.
Okay, a lot have changed, and in our times when there was no technology, I think I was even watching black and white TV.
Oh, okay. Too bad for you.
And then now, and they don't know the world without technology. They are not aware of what they can do outside of technology.
Yeah.
So in this day, and they are just thinking, it's like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying I should put my tablet down? Why are you saying I should get out? They don't get that whole, and they think that playing the games and all of it is the world, But yes, that's a difference. And we can do something about it. We can fuse the two, and it would depend on the mother again to make sure that you create that environment, make them to understand how the world was before, how it is now, and where we are going. This morning on my way, I was asking my son, how does this whole AI thing work?
Yes.
I was just asking, and he was telling me, I was like, so I was like, oh, okay, so I know it's a bank of data sitting somewhere with some kind of algorithms, and he was like, oh, mommy, yeah, you've got it, that's it. But, you know, so I was like, so is it always right? So we're just having a chat. Yeah. I mean, this is the benefits of having technology, but then the other side of it is also there. So how we need to guide them. We need to guide them as to how to, and then at whatever point you introduce them to technology, that's very important. The time that you introduce them to, because I see that now, even as babies,
they're given tabs.
They're given tabs.
Oh my God.
And for me as a mother, it's a bit worrying for me because you want the child's brain to process things in a certain way. But this is where they're just there and watching and watching and watching. What time does this child get to process things
on their own?
On their own.
Yeah.
And that is where my worry is as a mother, because they need to be able to process all of these things, their environment, what is going on around them, what is going on, what the future could be like, what has been in the past. But this then, I mean, and it's too early. And I think that if we can maybe plan when and how we introduce them to technology, it will be very helpful.
Very helpful. So do you currently have, and you said you have your man in the picture supporting with raising the child?
No, we are no more together.
You're no more together.
Yes.
This is how long after you had your child?
We actually had some misunderstanding earlier, so
okay.
we are no more together.
Okay. I'm asking this because I'm a single mother too, so I want to bring that to perspective because people don't understand how this works, especially when you don't have the man in the picture. So what, he comes in to support, or he's like, you know, out of the picture completely?
He does support as and when he has. Let me put it that way, because I can't really speak for him because over the years he went through certain challenges along the line. So once a while he sends money, but it's not as expected. But for him, he's doing it in his own way. But
he's doing his best.
Yes, I can't say as a mom that because of the way he's bringing her, I won't take care of my little one. Yes.
And that's completely, I mean, that's the way to go, because you can't leave your child. When it comes to raising children as well, we have the monetary aspect, and then we have the physical involvement in the child's life. Do you have that? Do you have him coming, spending time with the child and raising him, again, because he's a girl?
Well, no.
No.
Yes.
And do we see how that affects the young girl? You know, as we grow. I don't know about any of you, but I am with the school of thought that every girl, if she can, should have her father in the picture. Fathers have such an incredible influence on their daughters. So if their father is deceased, you need to get your daughter a acting father, or a father that can play that, someone that can play that role. And I'm sure you have that kind of support.
Oh yes, I have. From my cousins and some of my church members, the guys, yes. My daughter even calls some of them daddy. Like, she calls most of them daddy. Yes.
And you see what that, I'm sorry that we're on your case, but I want to throw a bit more light on that. We're celebrating mothers, but we want to, because they like to fight with us on the celebration, we want to throw a bit more light on what it is that the role they play if they are absent. And the reason why, you see, for mothers, it's almost as if, see, I don't have a choice. Even if I don't like it, I have to take care of my child. Even if my child is bad, I have to. We saw in the music video, the child was a very bad boy. Was getting into trouble, but the mother would always embrace him or her, because that is my responsibility. And we almost as if don't have a life after the children are here. For someone who has to call other people father, it is a deficit, right? And the child is yearning for that position. That's why she calls other people fathers. Because she wants it. Right. Now let's come back to the mothers. Because the men, earlier my co-host and I were having a conversation about it, and he was like, oh, we should put the same energy. I'm like, you don't know. You don't know why mothers get what they get. Because we play that role regardless of who is there or who's not. Now let's touch on the support bit. What role it plays in the life of a mother from pregnancy to the motherhood bit. What do you think that support bit does for mothers?
Pregnancy it's not easy. Some have it easy.
Just so
Some
you
have it easy, but most of you see, your whole body is going through a physiological change, and hormonally, or everything is changing in your body. So sometimes you're not even thinking right. I remember one of my pregnancies. I thought that if I could just put this thing somewhere and pick it up, you know, and pick it up later, but you can't do that. And so at that moment, if there's somebody to support you, somebody did something for me, I think my last baby, because the age difference between the second one and the third one, the third one was about 5 years.
Oh, okay.
So I think my body had forgotten
how
it felt like to be, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't do it. But I had this friend who would come to my house early in the morning and say, you need this cup of Milo. You need this cup of Milo because you have to go to work. And it's like, you know, so I have to, because maybe my husband will have an emergency and he's gone, and you're up in the morning and everything is going haywire. So she would come and say, like, you need this cup, make it. And I never used to like beverages. So she would just make it quickly hot and I'll just drink it. And after that, your body settles. So support every stage of the woman's life is very important. From pregnancy through childbirth, through we need the support. Mothers, we need the support, please. And then sometimes, I think that sometimes we have also come up with this, that we are super mothers, super, that whole idea.
It's a defense mechanism, because if I don't get it, I don't get disappointed.
Yeah, but you see, support doesn't have to come from where you want it to come from. Somebody might be throwing their support for you and you refuse to take it.
Because the body wants what it wants.
Because there was a time, there was a point in my life when I had a neighbor. She was a grandmother to younger children in the house, and we shared a wall. So one day she called me and said, you know, I know that you have to go to work and all of that, and you have help though, but I will keep an eye on them. So once in a while, she'll just walk into my house and say, hey, guys, what are you doing? Is everything okay? And that is support. But sometimes we see those old lady as nosy, trying to be in your business.
Yeah.
If you can understand that as support,
and
accept it, it would go a long way to help. And I appreciated what she did, because my eyes are not there. I've left younger kids in the care of somebody else who is probably may not have had a child before, probably don't even understand what they're doing.
Probably is frustrated by them.
Yes, you might have made all the plans, do this, do that, but hey, what do you do? So if this old lady who is a grandmother keeping watch on her grandkids is able to say, let me see what's happening. Sometimes she'll come and say, look, today this will happen. She's not being nosy. That's support.
That's support. Now, one of the things that is very daunting on young women who want to have children is that once I have children, my life is taken away from me. So we talk about the support bit again. How do you navigate yourself through that motherhood and follow your dreams? What does it mean for a young person or a mother to get out of that motherhood, get out of it completely, and still pursue their dreams and still be a great mother? I'm going to ask you, and you will take it from there. You had your child, you came to Ghana, you had your child, and you still went ahead to start working, or what happened to you from there?
After I had my child, I stayed home for a while. So,
like how long?
11 months. Okay. But in my 10th month, I just told myself I needed to start working. So I started applying for jobs, asking friends to help me. So there was this friend who actually sent me a link, and I applied. And that day when I was going, because my mom was busy, there was no one to take care of my baby. So I actually sent her for the interview. I just used the baby carriage. I just put her in. I went there. And I had to sit there for hours before I was even called in to be interviewed. And when the woman saw me, she was like, no, we don't need a mom. And I told her, no, I can do it. So she was like, okay, come. So after the interview, then she was like, they'll call me back. So they called me back and they asked me to start. So from the beginning, it was tiring because that was the first time leaving my daughter. My mom had to be taking her to school. And when sometimes by 8 p.m. I'm not back, my mom will be calling, where are you? My daughter will be screaming the whole neighborhood, everybody will be carrying her. But eventually my daughter got used to it. Yes, then she had to adapt. Then later along the line, just after a year, my daughter was 1 year, I said to myself, I always wanted to do my master's.
Yes.
So why wouldn't I start? And it was during the COVID era. So I applied to KNUST, the distance learning, and I went for it. It was during weekends. So when I'm going to work, I try and do everything, my baby's food, washing. My mom and my sister were there to also help, yes. So then when I come back, if there's assignments, I do it. During weekends, they take care of her for me to go to school. So I had that support because I have a large extended family. I have cousins who are always ready to support me, yes. So I went for it, and eventually I got my master's in accounting and finance.
Oh, nice.
Then after that, I was like, okay, I wanted to be a chartered accountant. So one time.
Now you're going to charter again.
Yes. So now that is what I'm doing. But along the line, I realized when I wake up at dawn and I'm learning, my girl will be awake looking at me. Sometimes she'll be like, "Mommy, it's okay, sleep."
Oh, God.
Yes, it's like she was even understanding that I had to stay awake and learn for long. She will stay awake with me, but if she can't, then she'll sleep along the night. So I had the support to follow my dreams. That is what I can say. And by God's grace, too, everything is moving on so far as I'm planned.
Yeah, so you're going to be chartered very soon.
Yes, please.
Oh my God, that's nice. I know because again, there are stories, and I have experienced it firsthand that for single mothers, what happens is that your child kind of grows faster than they're supposed to. Yes, you have so that childhood phase. It's almost as if they are in a hurry to get out of it so they can be of help to you, especially when children, especially for boys, because I have a boy, they're very sympathetic towards their mothers, and it's innate for the boys. So they would do things. They would act like, oh, I can do this. Of course, I can do this. In their heads, they can do it, so they go for it. But don't you think that's detrimental to their mental health, if you ask me?
Well, to a point, but not so. I mean, if the environment that you've created, the bonding and everything, is okay, and they understand you, it depends on the child. Some children might take it well.
Yeah.
Others might not.
Yeah.
If you have an attention-seeking child, that's a different ballgame altogether. But some of the children are amazing. And if you have an attention-seeking child, you might have to go according to the flow. Try and prioritize what is important. And then again, how the communication with this child. If it's a baby, you don't have, the communication, but then how you respond to the demands.
Yes.
And making this child understand that this is what is happening. And it works out beautifully because for a boy who needs the mother, they're so attached. My last baby is like that. He's so attached. Until now, sometimes I don't know whether... I remember I took him to a camp meeting with a boys' camp meeting once, and his grandfather went to that camp meeting, and he brought him back home.
He will not stay.
He will not stay.
He will not stay, I'm telling you.
He came back home. And till today, he's so attached. But, with time, it's time for him to go to boarding school. And I'm thinking in my head, how is he going to be?
Yeah.
Can he cope? But I'm just going to trust that he will be able to. Yeah.
Aretha, all these stories that you hear, you're a gospel artist, you're going to be going on tour, you're getting bigger every day, you're going to be going to different places. Does this scare you a little bit?
A little bit. But I think with what I do, it's quite easier. Like, it's a bit more flexible to still, do
have
what
a child
to still have a child. And, the only thing is, like I said before, it's just a support thing that I'll be able to, go to some places and come back. The only problem may be like the traveling stuff that might have to be cut down. But I have a friend, she just gave birth last year, and we sing together, like we do a lot of stuff together, and she's basically our tour baby. Like, literally, whenever we're doing the big shows, she's always there. Everyone knows her. All the artists knows the baby. When she was pregnant, we were singing. Like, when she gave birth, the child has been there. So, like, the child has just come along with us. Sometimes, so what she'll do is she'll bring, like, someone with her, or her husband will come with her, and then maybe if it's like too loud, then he'll take the baby back to the hotel, whatever. So it's just about working together with your partner or whoever you have to support you. But I know definitely things will slow down a little bit, but if I navigate it well, I think I should be all right.
Yeah. That, I think it's a myth, okay? But I hope you are on the same wagon with me. People make this assertion that, and I say people because I don't agree with that, that mothers make more time for their baby boys than for the female. So as a girl is growing, she grows on the man if the man is in the picture, or she goes out of the home because the mothers are more fixated on the baby boys. You have both genders at home. What do you think the case is truly is?
My case is different.
Okay.
I was intentional about how I was going to raise them.
Yeah.
I didn't want to raise them knowing that, okay, this one thinks I prefer this over it. And so I've been very intentional with that. But I know what you're talking about. And I don't know how that comes about, but it's, I'd want to say maybe it's the whole, the stages of going. You know, the mother, boys are usually attracted to their mothers.
Yes.
And mothers are attracted to their, and girls are attracted to their fathers. It's a natural thing.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing that happens. But then as they grow, they find their place.
Yes.
So if we understand that this is it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
So if we understand that, then there's no offense. You know that this is what they're just attracted to, the opposite.
Yes.
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 Okay, they're attracted to the opposite, which is a very natural thing.
Thing to do. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay. But if it happens that being attracted to that then turns into something else, or maybe it becomes, oh, then you become my favorite, or then that's where I have a but my boys relate to me. There are times, and you know what I used to do? I used to take them in turns. If I have to go to the markets, today is the first one's turn. And on our way, we are chatting, we are talking, we go and we come, and another day somebody else. And sometimes it's all of us. So we have to be intentional. For me, we have to be intentional to be able to have a relationship with both boys and girls. Because if you don't do that, then what are you going to... It creates a bit of friction. Somebody thinks that, oh, I'm mommy's favorite.
Yes.
My daughter, for some reason, is trying to make herself my favorite. And she'll tell me, you know I'm your favorite daughter. I only have one daughter.
Yes.
So
what do you mean by I'm your favorite daughter?
So she just... so when, yesterday she even said that, you know, she wrote it, she's like, you know I'm your favorite daughter. I'm like, you are my only daughter.
What are you talking about?
So that's, I mean, that's just what, because probably it's just the two of us.
So for her, she only sees one woman in the house.
Exactly.
And there's only two of us,
And
so why am I not your favorite?
You know, that, but I think that it's a good thing to try and find a balance.
Right.
Find a balance, you know. There are times when the boys can have their boys things, when we can also have our girls things. There are times when there are times when they are ganging up against you. There are times when you are against. So it has to be intentional. As a mother, you have to be intentional, not to deepen that rivalry, sort of.
Yes.
Not to deepen it.
Because it comes naturally.
It comes naturally.
So
it comes naturally.
Yeah.
But you have to be intentional not to deepen it.
Absolutely.
And let me tell you what, the society, environment even have a way of making it, trying to make it an issue. I remember one time I was packing stuff for both my two, the boy and the girl to go to school. And I had a guest and it's like, oh, you've packed too many things for the girl. Meanwhile, it was the same thing. We just bought everything and divided it into two. So I was wondering where. So it gave me the idea that even society, the environment, sometimes want to foster that agenda.
Yeah.
But we have to, as mothers, we need to be intentional.
We are the ones that draw the line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We need to be intentional about making sure that there's no difference between a boy. I mean, when it comes to the love that you're giving out, is equal. I know we've had this argument. I've had this argument with friends, but when they say, "Oh no, it's up, there must be a favorite child," I don't know how I don't know how I'm
gave
going
birth
to
to
do
all
that.
of them.
Yes.
How is
I'm
one
going
my
to prefer
favorite?
one over the other. I don't know how I'm going to
see how
do
frustrated
that.
you are about
Yes,
this.
I am, because I don't know how I'm going to do that. I mean, they all have and you see, it all comes also knowing them.
Yes.
You have to know that your children, they all come with unique and different
and
behaviors and characters and personalities. So knowing the individual helps you to know that, okay, this is how this person is, this is how that person is, so that you can actually help them in ways that they need help and in ways that you can relate to them. And they understand. And I always tell them that, look, you are different from it, and understand that among yourselves, that you're all unique individuals. You have different personalities. And so this is what you have to do. You have your own strength, you have your own weaknesses. Let's make it work.
Together. My mom says something a lot, and she says that I treat all the girls, the girls, differently because, so I have 3 younger ones, and they are different characters. The middle one is the strongest amongst them all. She has such a strong character. And sometimes I ask, Mommy, how do you do this? She was like, they are all different people. They all actually, in their own way, think that they are my favorite. They all feel so loved because I treat them according to who they are.
That's it.
So there's not one timetable that measures their entire life, but there's different, plans for everybody, different strategy for everybody. Now let's move back to where I don't know how people feel about today's parenting and parenting before, but we've talked about constantly parents being strict on their children, it being a reason why some children turn out to be, for the benefit of this conversation, problems for the society, because it's almost as if once they get out of their parents' claws, they're not free human beings to explore who they truly are. Whereas the other ones that, have the softer touch, parents being softer on them, being more loving and, caring in the way we would call loving and caring, they turn out to be the superheroes that we see, those who are achieving the most. I see you kind of disagree, so tell me what you think. So all of you from your experience as a daughter, please.
So as a counselor, I've met cases where this person is saying that I was not allowed to go out or do socialize, and so my problem is that I'm not able to socialize even at work, and it becomes a problem.
Right.
They're not able to socialize at work. They're not able to be out there and to do, and it's having an effect on them. Okay, they have anxieties and all of it because they were not exposed to. And then there are the ones that they didn't have much control, and they did anything and everything that they wanted, and that is also creating a problem for them. It's like, now I don't know, I don't have barriers. What are the boundaries? Where do I stop? And that's there. But to say, and then the reverse is also because they didn't have it, now they think that, oh, now that I have the freedom. So it depends on the individual. It's a case based, because you can't just blanket say that, oh, because I didn't have the exposure, I wasn't allowed to be out there, and so I just, it doesn't always happen that way. There's some that would actually have anxieties about being in public and trying to even socialize and form a network and all of that. And there are some that would just, it's like a raid, they just lose it and they are out there. So we will need to look at it case based.
So it's not cast in stone. It's not like that's how it turns out.
No, it depends. It depends on how strict the parents were. It depends on the level. It depends on a lot of things. The person's personality.
Yes.
Okay, it depends on the individual's personality and how that the unmet needs have been bottled up. And then once they get the freedom, they think that, oh, this is the time. Let me just explode. And so it depends on a lot of things. So you would want to look at it based on the individual, and then you can make that assertion as to what exactly.
But is there a way that the numbers for those who turn out to be the ones that are breaking free because they were held in the house for a very long time, or those who were loved the most turn out to be great? Is there a way that we can put it statistically that there are more cases like that than there is the...
I don't have the statistics. Okay. I can tell you for a fact that this is what it is. But even for those who were loved, sometimes they don't want to be out there. They're like,
yes, and nobody can give them that. So
and they're always looking for that attention. They become attention seeking. They're looking for who's going to be like my mom, who's going to be like my dad, who's going to do all of that for me. And so then it becomes an issue because then they're not able to really also find their feet because they are spoiled.
Yeah.
you know. And the way you said, yeah, I don't know why.
No comment.
You know, but sometimes we become overprotective, and then in a way doesn't help the children as well. So we might have to find a balance. In all of this,
Balance is key.
Yeah.
True, true.
Key.
Aretha, do you want to tell us what your experience was like as a child, and how you think that has affected you as an adult, especially from your mother's point of view?
So my mom, she was strict on me. Obviously, I was the only child for a while, so she was overprotective. But I think the one thing that kind of kept me grounded, as much as like I was unhappy that I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, she always explained to me why.
Oh, okay.
So I was upset, but at the same time, she wasn't like no, and that's it. That's just it. You know, so it wasn't like I'm trying to explore and see, you know, why she's saying no. No, you've told me why no. So I kind of subconsciously accepted it. Like I was like, okay, fine. Like everyone knew, like Aretha, don't even bother. I was gonna come to this party. Her mom's gonna say no, you know. After like now being free, like going into university, I had the choice now to go and don't get me wrong, I did go to a few, but I actually saw myself being more like, I don't even like this. Yeah, like you would think that now's the time I'm out of the house, I can be free, now's the time that I can do what I want. I was still the same person that, like, as much as I'm a very fun person, bubbly person, love to have a good time, I was still very much like, yeah, I'll chill today. Like, it's all right, you know. If we're celebrating someone's birthday, fine, but all the extra stuff, I had no craving for it.
Do you think that's as a result of you being kept at home for a very long time?
Yeah, like, so the thing is, I wasn't kept at home. So, like, my mum will still take me out to go places with her. With her, yeah, she'll still, if it's like my cousin's house, she'll let me go. But she was very well, like, these kind of parties, these kind of people, Aretha, it's not good for you, kind of thing. Yeah. So the truth is what kept me grounded. Let's just say that, like, the truth was, like, from the foundation, it kept me grounded. So it was always there in the back of my mind. But I've had people around me that the parents were just completely like, no, you have to stay in. Like, just completely horrible. Like, it just wasn't the right way to go about it. And then once they got their freedom, they went wild. It's like they can't open up. So I think relationship has a big part to play as well. If you have a relationship and your mother and your father can, like, actually talk to you, sit you down, it will be easy to talk about, oh, but mom, I'm not happy about this, especially from where I come from. It's quite easier to do that with your parents. In the UK, like, it's more open to say, oh, but mom, like, why? Like, why can't I, you know,
Not my Ghanaian mothers, you're going to ask me why. Like, you know why on your head.
Rather than, you know, don't ask me why, you just can't go. But, you know, it's good to have that relationship that you can sit down, you can talk, you can understand. With that, it makes it so much easier because it's like you're not, when you're now gone, it's not like you're not now running away. You still have that relationship with your mom. You can still tell her everything. So, yeah.
I think that mothers don't always have it 100%. We just know how to make the 20% that we have make it look like 100%. So yes, we might be doing it because we care, but the communication and the relationship is very important. Now, for you, who left home to go to China, what was the plan? To go to China again to go and study, or to be with boyfriend? And don't give us a reason. We don't want to know. You went there maybe for one reason, and then you were coming back with a child. What was the posture of your mom especially? I was going to ask your parents, but your mom especially.
When I heard the news and I called her on the phone.
She was the first person you called?
Yes.
Oh my God. Well, then, okay.
I called her and I informed her this is what happened. She was like, well, like everyone knew it was actually happening because the whole family knew I was going to him. I didn't hide it from, I didn't hide that fact. So everyone knew. So she was like, okay, well, it has happened, so let's move for it. So
she didn't want to kill
you?
Wow.
No. Because by then I was old enough.
Okay.
Yes, it's not like it was a teenage pregnancy or anything. Yes. So she felt in the Ghanaian community, why not? You have reached that age, like, to be a mom. So I think she had to just accept it.
Right.
Yes. So I just had to stay for a while. Then when they felt I needed to come back, they all asked me to come back.
To come back.
Yes.
Well, that's amazing. That's amazing, right?
Yeah. Because some mothers
would not accept this.
not. I mean,
In fact, the guy
it's
has to marry you
difficult.
immediately.
It's difficult. I mean, and then also, especially when your mother is like a church elder,
Yeah.
it becomes very difficult. But one of the things that my mother did for one of my sisters is like she said, I think she read a book. She read a book about the purpose-driven life.
Oh.
And she got the understanding that nobody can determine how a child comes into this world.
Yes.
And that also helped her to, understand that. And I think a year or so before, somebody had brought a child to her to counsel her over the fact that she was young and pregnant. And the mother was ready to throw this child and the unborn baby out of the house.
Yeah.
So it became like, it's like her future was brought before her eyes before she could even, experience it. And so it happens that if you understand that nobody can determine how a child is brought into this world, then it would give you the results that she got. Because hey, it's here.
It's here.
What can you do? It's a blessing.
Yeah. One thing that in recent times has been drummed a lot is self-care. And my mother, I always say I have two mothers, okay? Both of them had to sacrifice a lot of things for motherhood. And in recent times, both of them at the same time talk about, now I'm making time for myself, or now I'm going to do this, or now I'm going to do the travel, or now I'm going to pursue this thing I've always wanted to do. But at what point does a mother choose herself over everything that is happening around them? And it will not be that we are relegating everything and then prioritizing my self-care, but alongside taking care of everybody else, I would take care of myself. At what point would you recommend that a mother does that?
So I would look at it in like three phases.
Okay.
So in the phase where you have very young children, self-care must be like an appointment to yourself. Okay, an appointment with yourself. Self-care must be practiced in a way that, yes, you have all the kids around and everything. Can you find support where you can say, can you have the kids for an hour or two so that I can have the facial done, or I can have the rest, that 1 hour rest or something? It helps.
Yeah.
That is just in that phase. And then there's also the phase in the middle where they are now able to do things for themselves. That's where the communication comes in. So you talk to them, mommy needs her rest. I need to do this for myself. And if the communication is good with your children and you've been able to bring them up to that understand, they know that no. So there was a time in my life when I come back from work and I'm like, you know what? I need that 1 hour of just me time. Can you give me that? And they're like, okay. Then I just lock my door, be in the room and just lay down. I might not be sleeping, but I'll just lay down for just that hour. And they understand that. And once that is over, like, okay, Amy is over, like, and then they all come with their own issues. This is what happened in school. And so that time, that self-care, that time that you need for yourself is very important in all phases. Yeah. And you get to, when they are gone to uni and everything. So from the middle up to, if you have all the dreams and everything, there's a good time for you to pursue a lot of dreams. Whatever, because you've dedicated your time. For me, I mean, at a point I dedicated, there was about a 4-year period that I was not really working. I wasn't doing, but I was doing like courses here and there. So I was with them, but I was still, enhancing myself in one way or the other. Okay. But still, I would be at home when they come back from school, I'm home. Wow. And what I learned that from talking to other women.
Yeah.
I learned that from, because I spoke to some women who were in corporate Ghana, and I was like, how have you done it? I see your kids are doing well, you're still working. And most of them told me that there was a 3 to 4 year period that they were at home. Mm-hmm. And some also had, their spouses were so supportive. Some had their own businesses. Yeah. And so for the woman being in a bank or something, it was okay because the man would pick the children up. Yeah. And then they had the support of mothers and other cousins and things. So yes, self-care is big on support. Once you want to practice self-care, that's why I talked about the old lady. That old lady, I can just say, Grandma, can you just watch these kids for me for 1 hour. Or sometimes she'll just say, oh, send them over to her. So my kids will go and play
in their home.
Just
so you can have
so
that
that I
time
can have
for
that.
yourself.
You know, maybe if you want to read a book or
Yeah.
something. So I did something. I would just make a cup of tea, and then I'll be sitting behind my balcony, just hiding. And I hear them playing, but then I'm just there, you know, just trying to reflect and just, you know.
Listen, we've learned a lot from these amazing mothers. Pardon me for my cold that distracted the entire conversation. But I know we've learned a thing or two from the ladies. Your final words as we wrap up this conversation, because you just finished talking, take your breath. A lady here who is, I want to introduce her, if you can pardon me, as the single mother. She's doing this thing by herself. These people, they're the real superheroes, I'm telling you. Yeah. I have the best crowd in the room. They keep giving it up for her, and I love that. What are your final words, briefly, to mothers out there, especially?
Okay, so whether you are a work-at-home mom, a working mom, a mom who has gone through pain or loss, I just want to say this motherhood is a journey that you need to embrace with love, embrace with its struggles. Sometimes you can plan certain things, but it won't go that way. But just embrace it and move on.
Oh, thank you. Aretha, incoming mother. Incoming mother.
I'll just say that for people like me, always have people that have gone ahead of you. Always have people that have, you know, been on the journey before. It's always good to have good counsel. You know, it will lead you in the right path. But yeah, plan, but always just make sure that you have God in control of everything, you know, at the end of the day. But my main thing is just having support. That's the one thing I'm just super heavy about. So build a good community, build a good support system, so that when it now comes to that time, you're not alone and you have people to just hold you up. Yeah.
Lovely. She's prepared for it. She is.
So I would say that motherhood is a beautiful thing. It's fulfilling. I mean, and so I want to give kudos to all the mothers out there.
Let's give it up for all
the
mothers.
Their resilience, their love, unconditional love is amazing. And happy Mother's Day to my mother, Mrs. Cecilia Kuhn. You know, one thing that I would tell mothers out there is accept support. In this day and age, sometimes we are like, oh, I have this plan, but you will need the support. So accept the support, and also let me know that you can do it. Yeah. You can do it. So it might be difficult sometimes. If we have to share some of the stories, it might be difficult sometimes, but you can do it. You can do it. It's innate. It's something that is within, that you can do it. And I would want women, as women, let's pat each other on the back and say, you can do it. Yeah. It's possible. You can do it. You can have it all. Yeah. I think you can have it all. Yeah.
You can be a mother, the career woman, a wife.
You can have it. You can have it all. You can do it. Yeah. You can do it. You have God on your side. You can do it.
Oh, you have God on your side. You can do it. And this is coming from Mrs. Doku. We had from all the ladies brilliant submissions on motherhood this morning. So I know that as a young lady, if you're not married yet, you know, today you have today I've learned that I can actually take 4 years of my life to raise my children, and there's no problem with that. I can come back and get it done. All right, so you can take all the time, take care of yourself, learn, in fact, get counsel and accept help, because all these things help you to be a better mother. The fact that your mother struggled doing it by herself doesn't mean that you should. Right. Okay, they didn't have that much knowledge, but you should. Now we're going for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we get into something even more exciting.